Hello, everybody. Elena here with another episode of Rewired Inspired. And this is really after the new year. I think everybody is ready to take on new challenges and do new stuff. And today I have a beautiful guest who is going to challenge you. And her name is Anmarie Uber. And Anmarie has over 30 years of experience in the fields of Chaldean numerology, tarot and oracle, astrology, feng shui, entity removal, and soul rescue. Anmarie Uber challenges you to make the break from the ceilings, patterns, circles, and karma that have been blocking you from taking back control of your future. Through private readings and healings, through her video instructions and her books, she intends to teach you to do just that, to learn how to take control using the codes governing your life and become your own truth meter. So Anmarie, welcome. And I am so excited to have you here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
And, you know, I followed you for some time. I read your books. And what I love to do is I like the viewers and the listeners to know more about you, because I feel that you have something to offer that very few out there have. But before we do that, I like to ask you, I know you have extensive knowledge about numerology, especially Chaldean numerology, that I feel so many people need your help. So tell us, what took you down this road? I mean, I've read your story, but I like the listeners to really listen to what you have to say. How did you take on that path?
I think it was from as a child feeling very different. And I don't know if other people can relate to this, but I just felt like I didn't belong in this world. I was very shy and withdrawn, and I didn't really understand why I was the way I was. Seemed like my family was very different. So I just started searching for answers. I also didn't like what religion was teaching me as far as you're going to die and you're going to go to heaven or hell, and you better hope for heaven. And it was like, I just need to understand this. Like, why don't I remember where I came from? Why don't I know where I'm going? So I had a lot of experiences too at a young age with mediumship, people coming in from the other side and then getting in trouble when I would tell somebody. So I kind of blocked it all out, but I started searching in things that I could search. So this is way back in the day when things were a lot different. When I was about, I would say 7 or 8 years old, probably closer to 8, I would get on the bus and go to the mall by myself because I saw my sister do it, and that's where the bookstore was. So I'd go there and get informed about astrology, and the selection was like UFOs, astrology, haunted houses, and that was about it. But I just wanted answers to the mysteries of life. So I think there's a lot of tools that can help us, these old systems that in modern day got watered down or made fun of and replace, and science replaces that. But these were actually ancient sciences like astrology, numerology, this type of thing. And they were kind of like guides to help you through life. I think where people that are religious have a problem with some of the things I do is they think that I'm making this my God, not my guide, but also with not being informed about it. There's a lot of people that use things in a way that's detrimental to others, or misuse rather. Just like a knife in the kitchen, you can use it to cut your food or to hurt somebody. Not to go there, but so these things are dependent on who's using them. But there are other layers to that as far as religious, which I won't get into. But I just wanted answers. I was having a lot of bad luck. A lot of things were going wrong. I felt like I was invisible. I felt like I was always getting singled out. And I had a lifetime of not ever succeeding for the effort that I put forth. And I studied every business manual, every help yourself, understand money, understand the power of positive thinking, all these things. And then all the new age thing, I was studying everywhere, trying to figure out what my problem was. And people would say, oh my gosh, you put so much effort. It's almost like you're cursed or something's happening, that it's just, you don't have this luck. And so astrology, I think, was helping me understand the path I was on. It's almost like your script for this lifetime. And of course, we have a multiple choice script, which astrology will show you multiple choice options. Like, okay, this is the material that's coming, and then A, B, C, D, E could happen here. It doesn't necessarily tell you which one's going to happen, but sometimes it can. I mean, depending on what astrology system you're using. But I really got into Chaldean numerology because you could actually change something. So astrology is based on your birth date and your birth time and location. You can't change that. It's kind of like a blueprint map. They made a car at the factory, and then that's what the car is.
That's the blueprint,
So,
right?
Yeah, you can't go change it. But well, I don't know. That's a whole nother story. But anyway, numerology is based on your name and your birth date, and you can certainly do something with your name or what people are calling you and the energy that that's putting out there. And the Chaldean system is also connected to astrology, unlike some of the systems, which I really like too. So anyway,
you can actually change. The only thing you can really change is your name. You cannot change your date of birth. Is that what you're saying? Right.
Yeah. So you can work with your name and kind of alter the script that you're on a little bit, which to me feels kind of like a matrix type universe. It's like coding. And even in the Bible, it says that God gave everybody a name and a number. It's almost like this energy you're working with, and it kind of shifts. Just like when you, for example, hear somebody's name and they say, my name's Herman, and that might be like a really old school type name. But then they say, oh, my name's Zach, and then it's like, ooh, Zach. Yeah. Nothing against anybody named Herman, but it's like the names even have an energy to them, or a connotation in like the overall psyche of everybody. But anyway,
so they have a frequency, right?
Yes.
The name has a frequency that puts when someone
so I got into all these tools just to get answers. How do I change my life? And it's funny because I kind of see myself as a guinea pig where I test these things and then I tell people what happens. But with the numerology, I never did legally change my name. So I'm using both names. So I got what I think of as a cursed name. And then my author name, which is pretty close to my real name, where it's like I'm almost living these two realities. But it's okay, because I see everything as research. I'm a guinea pig in the research. And then tarot, like tarot cards, they can be used for bad. They can have some bad symbolism in them related to some things, which is another whole long story. But they can also be used to get answers, give you some peace of mind. And sometimes you just need to see something a little more clearly, not from an emotional perspective. You need to see something maybe laid out in a pattern with cards, or which use your intuition. Maybe you need to hear your intuition. Because I'm very intuitive. So when you ask me a simple question like you did, I go into this whole, this picture, here's 1,000 pieces. Oh, here, I finally put them all together where I'm answering your question. But it's just the way my mind works. I wouldn't say I'm an intellectual. I'm more of an intuitive. And I think when you start listening to your intuition, you get a lot more guidance. Because and I think everybody knows, when you ignore the gut feeling that you get
in trouble.
You usually screw up. Yeah.
Yeah, you usually get in trouble.
Yeah.
And I know you mentioned names, and I know you mentioned guides, and you mentioned good luck and bad luck. And from reading your book, I know that you have done truly an extensive research on you, so that you can put this out there. So you really save people a lot of years of testing, right? Because that's what you did, testing. Now, tell me, what do you feel came out of this testing that you did? Because I'm sure you did it just to help you, but also to help others, because you needed answers so that you can project those answers. So what were the answers that you feel have come forward for you that have helped you and others? I mean, I know your book helped me a lot, and I refer to it weekly. So I'm sure those that have read your book, probably for sure they feel the same way. But what do you feel helped you mostly from all this extensive, you know, doing things, testing things?
I think it's mostly helped me get in touch with who I am as a spirit or a soul, if you want to use that word, where I'm going after here. Why did I really come here? Who am I? But specifically with the numerology, like this book that you're talking about, this has so many fine-tuning points that aren't even in it. I think what I learned with that and all the testing is you can't just take something quickly and like, oh, this is a good number, I'm going to change my name to that number. And then why am I still having bad luck? So you've really got to look at how the numbers interact and which numbers are interacting where, like location number, your age number, your year. So there's ways you can actually start to map out like 2022 and your luck you're going to have this year. So so there's a lot more to it than this book, but there was so little written about this that I felt like I needed to expand it and study it and test it to see what are we all missing here? What are the little pieces we're missing? But I think really the biggest thing I've gotten out of even exploring any of these subjects, which get a lot of flack, like I said, although I have to say I am a Bible expert. People think I don't know anything about the Bible or Jesus, but anyway, you do get a lot of flack from religious people. However, which has some merit. However, I've gotten comfort in getting an answer, or when we feel like we're just thrown into this world and where are we and what's going on and what's going to happen. If you can find an answer or at least some kind of hazy direction that you're going, like some kind of outline, it's comforting to me.
So it gives you that, for me, that would mean, okay, I know what my purpose is now, and I know what I need to do moving forward. It's something like that. And I'm pretty sure so many people out there want to feel like that, because I'm sure there are a lot of people that have those questions internally, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of people talk about karma and things. Some of this is related to karma. It's kind of a term that's thrown around loosely, I think. And some religions teach karma. So I would say we go through reincarnation process, and karma is what we're paying for in this lifetime or what we're getting rewarded with. However, we get mind wiped when we come in, and it's like we don't remember anything. So we have that whole factor going on. But I think karma is a choice. I don't think it's a reward. I don't think of it as a punishment. A reward punishment, or I'm sorry, I do think of it as a punishment. It's like a reward or a punishment. I don't think of it as like a consequence of something, like a cause effect. So when you go pick an apple off a tree, the tree doesn't ask if you were good or bad, and you can, well, maybe the one in the Garden of Eden did, but it doesn't ask if you're good or bad. And should you take this apple? It just gives you the apple. But if I go touch the hot stove and I get burned, that's a cause effect. I learn from it. Karma is a little different. Karma is set up as punishment. So you did something bad, and by God, in this life, you're going to pay. Or you did something really, really good. We are going to reward you in this life. Well, it's really a choice. It's like we agree to that, I think, on some level as a soul, that we're going to suffer And we don't have to. We can just say, well, no, that's a man-made thing, or a construct that somebody came up with, this idea that you got to suffer or you got to be rewarded. I think maybe on some unconscious soul level, we're thinking, man, I really screwed up with them. I need to come in and just let them just go to town on me and wail on me, and I'll feel better about it. You know, it's a guilt thing. So,
so is it like, for example, you're here to learn a lesson, kind of a thing, right? But you're also saying you can make a choice at the same time. Don't look at it as a punishment. Don't feel that, okay, I'm here and I'm meant to be punished, right? Is that what you kind of saying?
I think that everything here is a choice. You nailed it. People talk about free will or choice. I think it's all free. It's all choice here. It's free will to choose. So you can choose to search for something that will get you out of this negative karma. You can choose not to play it out. But I think it's kind of a complex answer, that question. But I think even though you're given this script, you can alter your name a little bit. I don't exactly want to follow that script exactly how it is.
Yeah, you have a choice, right? You can,
yes,
you can
make choices.
Right. So by making choices, that means you can move towards a more positive outcome rather than think, okay, this is my karma and I'm gonna suffer and that's it. That is my path that I'm meant to take. And what you're saying, that's not true.
Yeah, one trick that happens to people is people tell them, well, you're not thinking positive enough. You're not manifesting correctly. You're not doing this. You have to work in the parameters of the script that you in particular are given, which astrology can show in very fine detail if you study it. So I have this script that says, for example, I'm going to do a terrible job on this interview. And then there's also path B, another choice that says, well, you kind of do okay. Path C, you do a fantastic job answering her questions. Your head's on straight, which it's really not today. But anyway, so I've got these choices, which one's going to play out. But maybe maybe I want to, maybe the choice of I do a terrible job really isn't there. It's like, what's in that particular script? What are my multiple choice options? So for example, that was probably not a good example. So I want to win the lottery. Well, at age, let's say 37, my script shows that possibility could be there. There's a lot of abundance that could come into my life. So if I start thinking, hey, and I start playing the lottery, I might win something. I may not win the $1 million. Maybe I win $50,000 or something. So, but if I'm at age 23, I'm just giving random examples, and that isn't in my script at that time, but it is at age 37. There's just different timings for things sometimes. So you can try to be as abundant as you want to be in any moment. And it's whatever your script at that time is going to allow, the best case scenario. So if it's not there, that's why these people are doing so great. And you're like, well, I still haven't, why can't I have that? Because it just wasn't at that time. That scenario wasn't there. Maybe something halfway was there, but not that extreme that you wanted. So I think you have to work within your script and understand that things are going to come to you. So what I always say is everything is working in my favor. Life works in my favor. I'm not a victim of the world I see. Everything's working in my favor, because what that does is it puts you onto the particular ABCD in that moment. That's going to be the best case scenario that's in your script. Does that make sense?
When you talk about your script, when you work with your clients, your main objective is to find out what that script is, and then for you to guide them. Am I correct?
Yes. And then my personal goal is ultimately to get myself off the script.
Right.
I don't like to be controlled. So searching for answers. How do we get off this script and do what we want?
Exactly. Now, how does Chaldean numerology play into this? Because I know you look at the astrology component, but you also look at the Chaldean numerology. So you look at people's numbers and say, okay, this is what your script may be, but this is how we can change it, right? So talk to
Yeah.
me about that.
I've seen with people, they can change it about 33%. Sometimes they might change their life more than that using Chaldean numerology, but it can make a huge difference. Like we said, you can't change your birthday, which is going to control your day number in Chaldean and your period number. So like your period number, your Taurus, so you would be a 5. You can't really change that. Or I'm sorry, a 6. I'm losing my mind today.
It's okay.
You can see intuitive mind. You'd be a 6, so you can't change that number energy of Venus. But if you change the name, it's going to change how everything interacts and all the. So when you make soup, you don't just have water. You have all the different things you put into the soup, and then how do they all taste together? Right. So if you made like a shake and put chocolate and lemon in there, it probably tastes awful. So it depends on what's the combination that's going on with the planets that are represented by the numbers with the name. So when you change your name, you can change the energy of your script to a certain degree and how it's playing out. Let's make it a little more pleasant. So I might be going through some of the same material, but it's coming up in a lot more pleasant way for me, thus increasing my luck, or which would be karma or negative karma. Would be another way of saying that.
So changing one ingredient can make a huge difference, really. So
yeah,
and that would also change the frequency of your path as well, correct? Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah. So if you made cookies and you accidentally put salt in instead of sugar, you're going to notice a huge difference. You're going to be choking that thing down.
Exactly. So, yeah, nobody wants to eat those cookies.
No. So yeah, it's everything's a combination of how everything works together, including how other people affect your life, and number, addresses where you live, and different things like that. Also with astrology, places where you live. So I think these things all fit together. It's why I ultimately like tarot, because you can read the whole thing. And you can also see how to change things as well, where numerology, you're actually changing your numbers, but tarot will show you your best scenario in. So for example, like on your script, you look at the astrology, here's what's coming up, here's all my choices. And then tarot can go, here's all your choices, but you don't really want this one or this one. This one would probably be better. And if we don't have any good ones, how do we change this to get to a good one? So it will show you choices maybe you're not even seeing. So that's why, like, I use everything. I don't just do one thing. But
so when you work with clients, you look at their astrology, you look at their Chaldean numerology numbers, but you also pull out the tarot cards. Am I correct? So that way you cover your field, so that you give them the best personal outcome that yeah,
I could do, I could do a combination appointment where I do all of that. It's usually what they're requesting, because some people don't want all of that, or they don't like a certain thing. They just want this. So I usually do them in separate appointments. Some of the other things you can look at is your Akashic records, which I look at as like soul records that your soul carries with it from lifetime to lifetime, everything that's happened to you or could possibly happen to you. So those are things you can look at too. There's all kinds of different ways to look at a person, like palmistry, looking at the palms. The palm lines will change, but they're very drastic. I don't do palms anymore, so don't ask me for palmistry, because it's a very, very drastic reading. It's like, wow, okay, I gotta tell them that. But there's no like gray areas or anything to soften whatever they tell you. But again, the lines are gonna change. So this is just in this moment. You don't want to take everything as like, oh my God, that's going to happen. You always have, like you said, choices. You always have different choices. Just become aware of what are they in this situation. because sometimes another person is in charge of that choice. You know, like if you have a boss, ultimately you always have a choice, but the boss could be deciding whether to fire you or not. That's their decision, their choice. Your choice might be either to quit before he does, or to change something you're doing in time to change that. So it's always combinations of things.
And isn't it sometimes that things happen for a reason? Like, let's say the boss fires you. Maybe the universe is trying to tell you something that, hey, that's not where you're meant to be. I feel that sometimes that may play out. Is what do you?
Yes, I think so too. I think we have like our spirit guiding us. I do think that we, I think we have intuition, like I was saying, that will warn us some of things or try to guide us, but we are in a world that trains you not to pay any attention to that. But I also think that we do have possibly help and help from outside this world, that, you know, people or beings that could help us. But there's religions like Native American religion believes in animal totems. I think there could be animal spirits that help us too. So it's just a matter of trusting that, you know, if you're really feeling it, it feels right, then it's probably going to turn out. But sometimes when you're resisting something and it's like, oh God, how did I get into this? And this is awful. But then when you get out of it, it's like, okay, it really wasn't that bad anyway, because now it made you realize this, or it brought this in that wouldn't have been there. So I kind of think that, yeah, things are happening for a reason. I really do think that we came in with scripts, but our soul is on a higher script, and it is trying to lead us where it wants us to go, not necessarily in the karma script that is a reward punishment type of thing, which really has nothing to do with love or with a higher state of mind. It has to do with like childish stuff. You know, the child's going to get punished or rewarded, and that's what the whole karmic cycle is. So I think your soul is trying to maneuver you through that, where you can avoid a lot of that. But so yeah, I do think there is a truth to things happen for a reason, especially if you're believing that. That means you're putting yourself on your highest script possible. And like that saying, everything's working in my favor, things will actually, if you start saying that, things will actually work in your favor. But there's a lot of traps in this life, and a lot of detours and distractions and things that get us screwed up, you know, like drugs and drug and alcohol addictions, and not working out, like with somebody like you, not working out their pain from childhood, and just letting it sit, and then their brain changes and they become a sociopath or something, or, you know, these things that need to be worked through.
The unconscious that comes, past life stuff. Is that what you mean?
Past life stuff too, yeah.
Yeah. So Anmarie, I mean, with everything that's going on around now, I'm gonna put this question forward to you, because we talked about guides and we talked about numbers. What are the guides saying, and what are the numbers revealing to you for 2022? I'm sure everybody wants your intake on that. So
I think it's going to be a year of a lot of surprises, maybe intensity. I don't know if I should get into the worldview, because that can be intense, but it is the year of the Fool. 22 is the Fool card in tarot, and the Fool card has to do with truth and with knowing things that other people don't know. So the more you start to look for truth and not what society's telling you, or maybe the news is telling you, but you really start digging for truth, the more prepared you're going to be for this year, I think. I think it's a year that people can exit the reincarnation cycle if they want to and leave, because the Fool energy is all about that. It's about overcoming the world and its hold on you, which is overcoming karma, the punishment reward cycles, and being able to leave here if you wanted. The Fool has the king's ear. And the reason the fool has the king's ear is because the fool knows something that the ordinary person doesn't. But if the fool told the ordinary person what he knows, they're going to call him a fool in a negative way. But fool is also based on trust and allowing yourself to have faith in exactly what you're saying, which is things are happening for a reason. Everything's working in my favor. And you start walking a path like that, you're going to walk your way through this life. You're going to discover your purpose. You're going to get out of here. So I think this is a year of people discovering truth on a mass level, but also personally. It is a 4 year. So you would take the last two numbers of the year 22, 2 plus 2 is 4.
Yeah.
So it's 4, not in a sense of like Pythagorean numerology, where that deals with issues of stability and things like that. The 4 is in particular relating to the planet Uranus, which is sudden shocking changes. So we could have some shocking things happen this year, and things falling apart that we never thought would fall apart. I don't want to say the economy is going to fall apart, but something like that, you know, like when the stock market just crashes out of nowhere, or things that happen out of nowhere.
Right.
So,
and that's going to be sudden, right? Because of your
sudden
because
changes
of your
that come out of nowhere. And it's also related to karma, 4 is, but it's also going to connect with your personal numbers. So your age number, which whatever age you are right now. So I'm 54, so I'm a 9. So 9 is not really all that harmonious with 4, because that's Mars and Uranus, they're butting heads. And it's also going to interact with the town you live in and the number of your house, like your addresses. It's going to interact with your personal numbers, the 4, how well does 4 interact? So what you do is you just reposition yourself. If it's not going to be that great for me, maybe I need to wear like 1 colors, although 1 colors, sometimes 1 can be dominated by 4, or 4 can bring 1 bad luck. So even though I have a 1 color on, but maybe other colors that aren't 4 colors, if you don't do well with 4. Now there's going to be people that do great with 4s and 8s, 8 energy, because it's connected to 8, that type of thing. And they should be really having a great time this year. So it's going to be a combination of different things that fit together to look at your luck as far as a year is concerned. Looking at your luck in general, over the span of your life, your personal life would be doing your numbers like what's in this book. So how do all those work? But each specific year, yeah, you would look at how that year number is going to interact with your numbers. So once again, it's a combination, the soup. Actually, I have a video I can send you. I'll send you a video on that. Since you've been reading the book, I'll send you a video on that on 2022. But
that would be great, and I can share it with my listeners.
So now, just expect a lot of change.
Expect a lot of change.
Hopefully it's for the better, yes. But some things are going to have to be shocking, I think.
Sometimes they say it's got to get worse before it gets better, right? So
yeah.
Now, coming back to the book, you talk about the 5 numbers in the book. Do you want to go more into that so people understand what those numbers are? I mean, just
sure.
What the numbers are and how you can help someone with those numbers.
Okay.
And I think the listeners may want to know how you figure those numbers. You don't have to, go into so much. But
so they're very easy. Yes, they're easy to figure out.
Yeah, they're very easy. Your book is very easy. Like I was able to see if my numbers are incongruent. And, I used that book to come up with names for my programs. I used that book for so many things. And, when I'm in doubt, I go back to that. Or if I come up with an idea, I say, okay, let me write it down. Let me see if it's in agreement with my numbers. And if it's not, I move away from it. So
that's good.
I think that book is extremely powerful. So talk to me about those numbers so that the listeners can understand a little bit more what those 5, because they're very important numbers, in my opinion.
Okay. Well, it's similar to the 5 numbers are derived from your name and your birthday. It's similar to doing an astrology chart, except astrology is not going to use your name. So what you're going to do is kind of draw up a little thing of your numbers. And this can be done for an individual. So it would be like, for me, it would be my birthday and my name, or it can be done for a business. So a business would be the name you give the business and then the day you launch it into the world. So your birthday is the day you're born into the world. The business is going to be a separate entity where it has its own name, and the day you launch it is its birthday. So it can be used for either, or even a project. If you're working on like a painting or something and you name the painting and then you put it up for sale, that's going to be its birthday and its name. So the first number would be your day number. Super easy. It's the day that you're born on. So if you're born on the 1st of the month, you're a 1, the 2nd of the month, you're a 2, and so on. If you're born on the 10th of the month, 1 plus 0 is 1. The 11th, 1 plus 1 is 2. The 12th, 1 plus 2 is 3. So very easy to figure out your day number. You're going to reduce it down to a single number. But you're also going to pay attention if you are born on a double number, like you're born on the 23rd, you're going to want to read what 23 means. But 2 plus 3 is 5. So you're also going to read what 5 means. And then, I have like descriptions in here of these compound numbers. I have descriptions of the single numbers. So that's your main number. That's going to be a number you cannot change, the day you're born on. And depending on the month and period of time, rather, not really the month, but the period of time you're born under is going to determine your period number. So that would be your sign, basically your sun sign in astrology. So if you're born during a period of late February, early March, you're going to be a Pisces, and so on. So that sign that you're born under has a planet that rules it, which has a number. So that would be your period number. So Pisces is going to be number 3 or number 7.
What's Taurus going to be? Like, I'm a Taurus. I was born on the 11th.
You would be Venus.
So I'm Venus. That's right. I am Venus.
So you would be 6 period number. So let's say you were born on the 18th of the month, which is a 9. So you've already got an 18, 9, and a 6 in your numbers already. And then you would look at each name, your first name, last name would be an individual name number. So you're going to add up the letters in your name. Each letter has a number that corresponds to it. You're going to use the Chaldean number system. If you use the Pythagorean number system to translate the letters in here, it's not going to work. That's a different system. So you want to use the Chaldean.
Yes.
Yeah,
I've learned that from your book, actually.
So then that will give you your name numbers. You add those together, it's going to give you a total name number. The key to everything is your total name number being in the same harmonious series with your day number. When those two are in harmony, then any negative numbers in there, it's going to really help bring out positive. And then you'll have your hidden number, which is adding the total name plus the day. Sounds confusing, but it's really just using your birth date and your name and adding it up.
And you do give examples in your book, because I've gone through your book, and you actually give a lot of examples where people can easily do their own.
Yeah, and you can get a lot of information about the numbers too, the material that it's dealing with. Like a 14 deals with communication and writing and things like that. So you kind of have a feeling of what material you're talking about with that number. And then after you figure out your numbers, all it is memorizing the rules of how they interact, which ones are harmonious, which ones don't get along, which numbers should you not double, which ones, and once you get the rules, which aren't hard, it's just a matter of remembering them, then you can start to map it out correctly and see, oh, well, this all seems like it looks good, but I just noticed I've got an 8 and a 7 in my numbers, and those two don't, they don't get along. So I got to change one or the other of those. Yeah, and then if you can't change something, you just look at, I got a frog in my throat. You just look at solutions. There's solutions that you can use, like I was talking about, where colors that relate to numbers in the year 2022 that are more harmonious for you. So, or different periods of time where different colors, avoid different days that are not harmonious, this type of thing. So there, and you can amp up other numbers to give them more energy and kind of tone down the ones that are not bringing you good luck. So there's different little cures, I guess you could say, a cure you could do for just like feng shui, where you have cures. You can cure the problems that are in there. So it's just mapping out your numbers, which are really easy to do, and then learning the rules and learning the cures. So
Yeah, that's fascinating. Tell me, Anmarie, if I know you wrote other books, do you want to share that with us too? Because I know you did the tarot book, and do you want to show?
I did 2 tarot books. These are based on kind of like a life study also. 60-second tarot, because the title is because I got very frustrated doing tarot cards. There's 78 cards and having to look up the meaning or use my intuition. And when you're starting out with these, you start to doubt like your intuition. You're like, oh, is that really what it means? Because the book says this, but the book says like 5 different answers, you know, which one is it and all that. It's really hard to read for yourself. So this just breaks these cards down into a really simple system where you're going to know something within 60 seconds about every single card in the deck. After the first 2 sections, you're going to be able to pick any card and go, I can tell you something about, I can tell you a couple things about this card. So that's why it's called
awesome.
60-second. Foolproof.
So
go ahead.
That book, right? If someone was to buy the book, they'll really learn how to read tarot cards.
Should be able to, yeah.
Should be able to, right?
I do classes. I think I'm going to do a class in March where we get into it a little more, but super easy system. You'll need the Rider-Waite deck to learn off of, just because that's what most of the modern decks have spun off of. But foolproof is like going to the next level with it once you get real comfortable with the cards or familiar. Or even if it doesn't matter if you're beginner or advanced, you can look at this book. This is going to take you into other things like how to do mediumship with tarot cards. Because I've had people come in for a session or book a session with me for tarot, and then they want mediumship. And I'm like, I got the cards out. So if you don't know how to do mediumship, but somebody asked you for a tarot reading, this shows you how to do a mediumship reading with the cards.
Wow.
Without having to be a medium. So people get things confused. They don't know what they want. Somebody says, oh yeah, let's go for a psychic reading. I really want to talk to my dead grandmother. And they don't know they're going to a tarot reader or to an astrologer or to whoever. And then they say, well, I'm not a medium. I don't do that. I just do cards. So it kind of shows you a lot of different fun things you can do with the cards, and just takes it another step further, and how to answer more and more questions. Because I kind of feel like once you start doing cards, you don't want to ever be put in the position of like a deer in headlights where somebody's going to ask you something that you can't answer. Right. So this is teaching you how to answer any type of question that's going to get thrown your way, or offer something to the person, no matter what they're going to come in with. Some people come in with, I don't know, just start reading. I don't have any questions. So then you're on the spot and you're like, wow. But so it's going to just walk you through all kinds of scenarios and just teach fun new things to look at with the cards. But
those available. I know the 5 Numbers of Destiny is available on Amazon. Are the others also available on Amazon?
They're up there. I've got some on just breaking free of karma, like some general topics. I'm working on a workbook for this, is what I really want to get done. But I'm also doing a book on astrology on, I don't want to tell you the title yet because I'm going to do a title reveal, but it's about soulmates and astrology, like how to spot if you've had past lives with somebody, and if it's going to be able to be a long-term relationship, not just like flash in the pan or whatever. So so it's going to be more on the romantic compatibility type stuff, but that should be done hopefully March.
Good. Oh my God, that's awesome. I know you're doing a workshop on astrology. Are you doing one on numerology as well? Or is there a combination of two? Or are you going to do one on astrology and one on numerology?
I forgot. I think I did send you that email. So the
Yeah, you did.
astrology one is this month on the 19th, which will be based on that book. It's going to be a soulmate astrology. So if you're interested in that aspect of astrology, March, I'm doing a tarot class, and then I'm probably going to throw in a numerology class. I'm looking at like every other month. So to have a class up. And I've had some people asking for the numerology, so I really need to get something done, but you know how it is.
I know.
You don't get even a quarter done what you need to get done
you
or
plan
think you
to
want to
do.
get done.
Now, the astrology workshop, are you gonna teach someone how to create their own chart and be able to understand and read?
A little bit. It's going to be for beginner or advanced. It's really easy to get your chart printed up. You just do it online and it'll print you up your natal chart. I'm going to show them real briefly how to read it enough that they can follow along with the particular planets that we're going to be looking at and the signs and that type of thing. We'll cover sun signs, a little bit of fun maybe. And then I have in the book, it's pretty much based on the book, but I have a soulmate quiz where you can look at both charts and start to look for all these things in there so you just answer each question and then you add up your points to see if you've got enough soulmate connections to last a long time. So we'll probably do the quiz at the end then, but just get them familiar with their chart, what they're looking at, and real easy, simple clues you can look at to see if you have a long-term connection with somebody. Just a little bit different than what's out there, I think, because some of the things that are out there, like, oh, your Venuses are in the same sign or the same house. And it's like, yeah, but that's, I don't know. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to make a relationship that lasts a long time. Right. So, but these will also be, I don't know, my thing's saying I'm playing music. You don't hear any music, do you?
I do not, no.
So this will be things that also you've had past lives with this person. So that's going to increase your connection to them and the ease of a long-term relationship. Unless you had a really negative lifetime with them, then those people it's very apparent, and you hopefully, and you don't get involved. But so that's coming up this month. And it will be based on that book, which will be finished in March. And then March will be tarot. So I'll probably throw on maybe in May a numerology class. So, of course, I would like to do them all right now, but
of course,
I have to pace myself.
I think we all do. I mean, I feel sometimes the same way. I want to do so much, and yet, we have other things that we need to take care of, right? I can talk to you forever, and but I do have one more question. And if somebody wants to get in touch with you, if somebody wants to get a reading from you, or somebody wants to know more about you, where can they go, Anmarie?
Just my name, AnmarieUber.com or .net. They both go to the same place, but AnmarieUber. See, I got it here on the book. It's got to be that spelling.
Perfect. So it's Anmarie Uber.
This might show up backwards. I'm not sure, but
no, it actually. So it's AnmarieUber.com.
If you like going way down a rabbit hole, you could check out my YouTube channel. It gets a little bit crazy on there, but
if you send me the YouTube channel, or tell us what the YouTube is, it the
same thing, Anmarie Uber YouTube channel.
Now,
I'm going to pick us a card though, just to end this with, but go ahead with whatever you want to say.
Well, I want you to end it with give everybody out there a message from those cards.
Oh boy.
What comes up? That'll be interesting.
We got Gateway, which I think is related to 2022. I think we're going into places we haven't been before. New things opening up, like that truth that I was talking about is opening up. We're going to gain more truth about what's going on in the world that we didn't know, but also these shocking changes that are going to open up these doorways and gateways. We've also got action. So whatever you're not doing, there may be some physical action you need to take, or if your life has been like sitting still, it feels like things are going to start moving this year for everybody. I think we've all felt paralyzed and stuck with, oh, look what I picked for us. Abundance. Look at there.
Oh, beautiful.
So I think we've been kind of like frozen or paralyzed from the 2020 and then going into 2021. And it just feels like things are going to get moving. I don't know if they're going to get worse before they get better. That, like you said, it could possibly be something. These are super happy cards, so there's not a lot of negative ones, but we do have security coming up here. So this might be a time to pay attention to make sure all your ducks are in a row and you're in a good place financially or otherwise. Even if we do have some bumps coming up, that you're going to be able to weather the storm. So
I mean, that means clear your debt and focus on, you know, grounding yourself.
Listen to Elaine.
Yeah.
Listen to you, you know.
And it's, you
know, go get
know,
some guidance from Elena here.
You know, from you, like, I think what I'm hearing from you is people need to become more aware, to go more inwards, right? To trust their intuition, to trust their instrument. We all have it. I mean, I know we all have it. It's inside of us. It's just that so many are so focused outside of what's happening rather than taking care of self. And even the cards reveal that, right? You're gonna get abundance, but
that's a great statement. You know, we're trained to look outside of ourselves. We're trained to look at the teacher to teach us in school, give us the answers, to the parents, give us the answers, to the priest or the minister, give us the answers, the politician, give us the answers. And we have everything. So my actual motto on, or whatever, on tagline on YouTube is question everything, trust yourself.
Yes.
And you hear that over and over, go within for the answers, look within, and we never do it. We can hear that 1,000 times and we still don't do it. We don't trust ourselves. And that's what the Fool is about. 22, the Fool is about trusting yourself and having faith, and exactly what you said, which was things are happening for a reason. So trust that the best scenario is going to happen for you. Why? Because you chose it, you requested it, you demanded it.
You need to be there, to be aware, to be, you know, to go in, to come out of this, right? That's what I'm hearing.
Yes. And don't worry about the challenges, because the bad stuff will happen, or something's going to come in there and try to challenge what you just thought. And it's like, okay, whatever, because it's all going to wash out in the end and it's going to be fine. You just keep thinking that. And that's exactly what will happen. If you think the opposite, you're going to get caught up in the drama, you're going to be reactive and all this stuff. So go within and just remember, okay, what do I know? I know that I have the ability to choose. Everything's working in my favor. I'm going to trust myself. I'm going to trust this process. I'm going to trust my spirit that's leading me on this path. You know, and you can trust the creator. I mean, I think we're connected to the creator. I don't think this has to be some kind of religion outside of other religions. I think that most people, not all religions, but most people believe there's a being out there that has created us and that cares for us. And I do think that's true. So trust and realize you're in a world that can be very difficult. So you have to learn to let things slide off your back. You have to learn to think, just like you said, things are working in my favor. They're happening for a reason. It's okay. I'm okay.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be okay when I leave here too.
Yeah.
Yes. And I'm going to be okay where I'm going after I die. It's going to be okay.
But do we really die, Anmarie? Like, talk about that.
I've seen too many things to know that we're not just this body. We're most definitely living on. We're just taking on a different form. we have a light body, and
that's another conversation.
another
I need to
long
bring you on for
conversation,
part
but-
2.
Oh Lord.
Where we can
So,
talk about, leaving this body and going to another dimension.
So, or going back to the creator, and then deciding where you're going to go from there, what some people will call heaven or whatever you want to call it. But just keep going back to yourself, trust your intuition. And when you don't know what you're doing, or you're worried, or you're scared, go back to your intuition, go back to your own power, your own spirit, that can conquer anything here. We've just been put into a limited space with limited choices, but that doesn't mean that we're not this spirit that's limitless. So remember that you are a limitless spirit, an extension of the creator. That's what I think. So go into things with that mindset. And when things go wrong, they're going to go wrong. But just remember, it's happening for a reason. You're going to see something on the other side of this, and try to pick the best path to get through it. Don't try to pick the worst, the most difficult path and make things more difficult. But anyway, it's a journey. Life's a journey.
It's a journey. That's so beautiful. I want to thank you for being here as my guest. I so love and enjoyed speaking with you. I could talk to you forever. And I want to say thank you. And to all the listeners, if you want to reach out to Anmarie, she will make a lot of sense. She will give you so much clarity she has so much knowledge, this lady. I've done readings with her. I've read her books. So I will have a link, but one more time, give us your website where they can get you. Bring up the book again so they can see it one more time. So if they want to reach out with you to get some clarity, to get, see what their script are and how you can make their script better, that will be awesome. And then
thank you so much. I mean, the pleasure is all mine coming on here. That was so nice of you to ask me. And I think all that you just said, I could reflect back to you. Your books are amazing. You're amazing. But AnmarieUber.com, 5 Numbers of Destiny. If you're into tarot, 60-second tarot is a great place to start. Synchronicity numbers this is kind of like an oracle in itself, like tarot cards. You could think of a number, open it up, and read a message. So several books on there, but there should be available everywhere. Amazon, Barnes and Noble, I don't know, Apple. They're all over the place. So
beautiful. Thank you so much, Anmarie, for being here. And until next time, I want to say all the best to all the listeners, and I will be with you again soon. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Yay. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Rewired Inspired Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with your colleagues, friends, and family. Do you have a question, comment, or topic idea for a future episode? Please reach me directly at elenapetrescu.com. And if you haven't already, please subscribe, rate, and review the show on your favorite podcast player. Stay inspired, as there is unlimited potential in your life and business. Thank you for listening.